Listen, at this point, you guys are probably tired of hearing about how XRP or this altcoin or that altcoin is about to explode and make you rich, this, that, whatever. But what if I told you guys that we actually are very close to the beginning stages of the largest portion of the cycle for altcoins? No, I'm not trying to sell you guys anything. No, I'm not trying to clickbait you. No, I'm not trying to promise you guys the world and not deliver. I'm going to be talking about it in this video on exactly how close we are to alt season, why I think that by the end of this month, June, we will start to see the beginning stages of it, and why by the end of this year, a lot of altcoin holders will become very wealthy. Let's dive on in. Let's talk about a few things. Number one, let's talk about the sea of red that we are still very well in around this market. Yes, with the recent sell-off in the market, altcoins are still down. Most of them are, at least. We do have XRP in the green. ICP is in the green. A few other altcoins are in the green, but for the most part, we are still in a sea of red. Now, as we do really kind of think about that, this is what the market looks like right now, just hovering around almost a $3.3 trillion market cap. When it comes to Bitcoin, roughly 105.5K. Don't worry, we will talk about that here in a second. Outside of that, rest of the market, pretty calm, pretty relaxed. I mean, in the last 7 days, Bitcoin is up 1.54%. It's not a huge move. Now, a lot of altcoins are definitely bouncing off of the lows in the last 7 days. But for the most part, it's a pretty calm week for crypto. We haven't really witnessed anything crazy just yet. And I don't think that we are going to see any crazy moves happen until we get over the, FOMC meeting, which is happening in the, middle of this month, right? We're coming up on it. I will be updating you guys on that in the midnight video that I do have scheduled up. We're going to actually be talking about the weekly candle close once we get that. That video will be recorded, closer to the end of this night and upload it on, around like the midnight time frame. But that video is definitely going to be a must watch because I'm going to be going over a lot of important things, especially when it comes to XRP's chart, Bitcoin's chart, and the rest of the market. But outside of that, like I said, I think that most of the market's going to be pretty calm until we get into the new week, right? Where stocks are opening up, the FOMC meeting is closing in. That's when volatility will start to pick up. That's when we start to actually see some pretty big moves out, across the board. And when it comes to Bitcoin, okay, we do have to be a little bit cautious here. I see a lot of people getting very, very impatient and starting to, they're just basically telling us that the bottom is in, right? The problem that I have with this is that we actually have yet to clear some of the previous highs. Ultimately, what we really want to clear is like this 106, 107K region. Even then, we are at major resistance at around roughly 106 right now. And even on this recent swing high, we didn't really clear any resistance. We're actually trading around this resistance zone. So we have a lot more work to do here until we get ahead of ourselves. So again, big thing here, we need to clear some key levels. I'll outline them in, tonight's video. But on top of that, right, the fair value gap on Bitcoin is around roughly like the low 90K region. If we get that, definitely prepare when it comes to altcoins because we could have some very big buy opportunities in front of us. And I do suspect that this will be the last major one. I know that is a common thing in the space where, people say, oh, this is the last dip. This is the last dip. No, we're going to see dips going forward as well, but they're not going to be as deep as this one. And I think that we are pretty much coming up on, one of the last major swing lows for the rest of the cycle, because I do think that what happens next is going to be alt season. So definitely prepare for that when it comes to Bitcoin. Outside of Bitcoin, we're obviously talking about XRP here, right? We're talking about why XRP is close to breaking out. Well, number one, we obviously have to think about the cycle. Yes, we are closing in on alt season, which means altcoins, all of them, including, of course, XRP, is going to have a major run up in this market. Now, when it comes to XRP, again, we have yet to clear some key levels. Even zooming out on the 1 year on coin market cap, don't worry, I do have the trading view chart open as well. We have a clear level in which we want to clear, which is like $2.40. Technically speaking, we want to clear the it's like the beginning of December, right? Like this is the beginning of December highs. This is around like $2.60. That's a key level that we want to get a close over. Until we get a close over that level, we're not going to break out on XRP. Nothing exciting is going to happen on XRP as well. I have the chart open for this. We'll talk about it here in a second. But I do want to go over a few things. Number one, this post here from Tech Dev, because I do think that this is actually very realistic to think about, because what he is saying here is that in the past 2 months, 8 days have been responsible for 99% of the move from $75,000 to 110K on Bitcoin. The other 52 were chop. This is how it's always been and how it will continue to go. The legs will get steeper. Missing those 8 days is risky. Time in is greater than timing. Do not try to time this market. Okay? This is the biggest mistake that I see a lot of people trying to, do in this space, is they want to time the market. Let me sell my, bags at this price and try to get in lower. That's how you get sidelined. But this is 100% true, right? Most of the price action has been chop. So when we think about that for Bitcoin, where do we see XRP going? Because again, right, when we think about what has happened, let's just look at this real quick. I want to go back to the beginning day of this impulsive move. During this entire 216-day span, the actual only days of growth during this entire time were 72. 72 days out of 216 days. By the way, if we're actually thinking about this entire cycle, technically we have been in an uptrend this entire time since going all the way back to June of 2022. But if we're thinking about this entire cycle from those lows to where we are at right now, only 72 days out of the 1,090 have been the largest impulsive move. I do suspect that we are going to see a much larger impulsive move here very soon for XRP, but I want you guys to understand that these things do take time. To have these violent moves to the upside, they do take time. Now, when it comes to XRP, I did have, this level on this trend line, really kind of focused on for a higher low. Seems as though we have that right now. This is very good to see. I want to see us actually maintain this. We could potentially have a deep wick like this before we, recover in a big way. That wick over here, in my opinion, would be roughly this wick from February. This would be $1.79. It's possible that we get this. It's also possible that we don't go that low and we hit about $1.90 roughly, $1.89, $1.90 to retest this level. I don't want to see that. I'm just giving you guys a possibility here. But the thing about XRP right now is that from that high to where we are currently trading, we have been going sideways for 141 days. But think about it like this. All it takes is just a couple days. 8 days is what we had. That's the only days that we actually had for Bitcoin to go from 75 to 110K. 8 days of, again, 2 months of price action. When it comes to XRP, things could change almost immediately. All it takes is one big catalyst. The Fed cutting rates, a big announcement, you name it. Now, on top of this, okay, the altcoin market is just brewing for a big move. Here we actually have a chart from Tech Dev talking about the total market cap of crypto, excluding Bitcoin. If we look at this thing, it is just ranging sideways against the 2021 highs, waiting for a big break to new all-time highs, going into price discovery and continuing to roughly, I would say $3.7 trillion. So I think 3.7 to about 5 trillion is the sweet spot for the altcoin market this cycle. We could definitely go higher, but that's my overall thought process. When we think about this, right, the majority are not even aware of this. It's quite clear that the vast majority still have no idea how explosive this altcoin chart is. It is extremely explosive. It looks ready to go. Yet most people are just avoiding this. They are completely oblivious to it. I said June is the time frame that I'm watching for alt season to start. The reason why I say that is because of the focus put on crypto right now. There's practically no one watching crypto. We look at Bitcoin, we look at crypto, we look at altcoins, we look at XRP. Look at the interest around all of these. It's plummeting. Bitcoin is at levels that we saw back in October. Nobody cares about Bitcoin. Nobody cares about crypto. Nobody cares about altcoins. And I can tell you right now, nobody cares about XRP right now. We're back to these levels where interest is plummeting. This is like roughly November. It's crazy that retail doesn't care. And the reason why is because we have been going sideways for over 141 days on XRP. On Bitcoin, we recently just hit an all-time high, yet nobody even cares. Retail doesn't even know. They're not even paying attention. This is crazy to me. And also, by the way, when it comes to alt season, the narrative right now is this time is different. Decode Jar put out a great post on this. We have, sorry guys, it looks like alt season is canceled because this time is different, and also I might be on crack. Here we have, or there just may be no alt season anymore. The market has changed significantly. Total nonsense. Altcoins already in beginning of bear market. Here we have no alt season at all. You were on crack. I mean, it's kind of comical. I get it, right? But still, the idea here is that nobody wants to believe it. Nobody thinks that alt season is going to happen. They think altcoins are dead. Guys, here's 2021. In fact, this is January of 2021. Guys, let's go back to that chart from TechDev. Okay, I just want to copy this real quick. And I want to just throw it onto this chart because I want to circle something very, very interesting on this chart. You guys see where 2021 begins, right? This is the beginning 2021 candle. Guys, look at where we were at on this chart, okay? Sorry, let me go back to that because I was starting to scale it. Look at where we were at on that chart, where that horizontal line is, okay? Before this huge move happened for altcoins. That's our top into 2022. Guys, just like TechDev is drawing here, look at where we are at on that chart currently. This is the current view. Where do you think we go? And by the way, where do you think XRP goes during this time as well? See, nobody wants to pay attention to altcoins right now, just like they weren't paying attention to them back in the end of 2020 into the beginning of 2021, right before alt season started. Look at these comments here. No alt season. This time, so dump the garbage while you still can. There is no alt season. Dead cat bounce for alts. Alt's gonna die, and there will be no alt season. It seems like there will be no alt season this year. Only Bitcoin season. Bitcoin has doubled in price with no alt season. Maybe alt season is a myth. Strategic move, and I agree, no alt season. What if I told you there is no alt season? I don't think we're getting an alt season. I really don't consider Ethereum an alt or any of the protocols you could build on. The money is institutions. They're not going to Uniswap. And most markets don't have the liquidity. No, it isn't. Sorry, the last alt season had everything pumping, every crazy coin. The only thing pumping right now are top tier coins. Human mindset still needs money to put in. We're still in the middle of a Bitcoin season, no alt season. Guys, this is the narrative while Bitcoin is at these highs on this chart, while Ethereum is starting to rebound. And also, when we think about Ethereum USD, look at where we're at right now on this chart. We're consolidating. We consolidated down here right before this big expansion. Consolidating. What do you think happens next? Right? We start to pump to the upside again. We're consolidating across the board for Ethereum, for Bitcoin, and even for XRP. XRP is so bullish right now, yet most people are just unaware of it because they don't want to focus on it, because all they're focused on is the fact that we're doing this, right? We're going sideways in a downtrend. But this is what happens next. And no, I don't think that it takes us into 2026. I'm just saying that the next big move here is we already chopped, we expand to the upside. The second that we clear $2.60 on this chart, it's like $2.65 on the 3-day, it's over. It's over for everyone that has been talking about how XRP is doing nothing, because all of a sudden we're going to see these highs from January retest it, going into price discovery again. And this is when alt season is also here. We might have, maybe just a few more weeks, right, towards the end of this month to prepare. But I do think that we are on the cusp of a major move here. And no, I have not said this for months. I said this just recently. I am prepared for this. I hope that you are all ready. And with that being said, guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.